broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers, and you're with us. You're here for the finale of Season 1 of Blood and Oil on ABC, Episode 12, Departure, and the full panel is here to break down everything that happened tonight, and man, was there a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, Lauren Salaun here. You can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun.
Hey everybody, it's Howard III. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Howard III. That's Howard the 3RD.
Hey everybody, y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant. I'm trying to get the live chat going right now, so let us know what you thought.
Great.
I've got it up too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm your host, Grant Rutter, and you guys can find me on Twitter at Grants__Rants. And I'm feeling a little goofy tonight, so let's have some fun with this episode.
Yes, let's.
I mean, like, I came in here, I was like, okay, I'm going to make some good notes, but there was a lot of things that happened, you know, when these, the writers, I guess they don't know, and neither do we, if the show is picked up or not for a second season, so it's like, do we put this nice little bow? Do we, we have to kind of pay off some of these storylines, but there was a lot of little stuff that happened along the way. Of course, we will break it all down right here. So we started off the episode with Chief White Cloud, who's coming in, and she basically told Hap and Annie she's not going with either of them. So instantly, everyone's like, oh.
I think we kind of felt like that might happen last week. We were talking about that being a possibility.
I just thought it was going to go the route of, we're going to do it ourselves.
Right.
Because y'all are trying for it so much, so we're just going to do it ourselves. But no. It was kind of a weird way to be like, we're not going with either of you. We're keeping it open. ... But, you know.
And then, what's-her-face, Jules, is feeling so bad for herself because she is pregnant. She doesn't know who the daddy is. And I'm like, well, girlie, you play, you pay. You play, you play. I mean, whatever, you play. But also, she's like, okay, I gotta get this cup, so that's going to the DNA thing. But that whole thing with the results came out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, usually with soaps, it's like...
I don't think that happens that fast in real life.
It doesn't happen that fast on Maury, so... Surely not on this one either.
And she just found out she's pregnant, so... I don't even know if you can, who knows? It all seemed a little too fast.
Yeah.
But
lots of
TV.
stuff has been happening fast in the show recently.
Yes, it was definitely on speed. And then a mysterious woman was paying to get Jules's medical records at the clinic or the hospital that we keep visiting that like Cody just loves to spend so much time at that hospital.
Takes presents.
And so of course we find out that this mysterious woman is instantly connected to Carla, of course, and Carla's looking to get some information and leverage. And, first it's Hap's baby, and then it turns out to be, Wick's, and, Carla pretty much is like, hey, I'm going to pay you out.
Yeah, Carla moved fast.
Not surprised by her doing that.
Not at all. She moved fast. She got to the point. She's like, I will give you everything you need to support this baby. You just get out of town. Like, get out of my life.
I just wonder why she had someone following Jules. Which I know, obviously, because they were having the affair, but I didn't think she was still having someone following Jules. And also, that little bit of money that the lady gave to the nurse did not look like a lot. No. So I'm like, you just gave up a lot of information for like $20.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, okay, it's like wadded up. Is that a couple hundreds or what's going on here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that Carla would have somebody following Jules for this long, but I'm pretty sure she probably wanted to keep her enemies close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're all about that. Oh, let me keep you close and rip you apart type of thing.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned, and so we were like, who is this now?
Right, exactly.
Like now, what type of character we're gonna have to place this one with? Who they working with? What's their motivation? But it was quickly connected to Carla.
Yeah, so. And it wasn't it was just a quick little blip of another person. But yeah, as we're watching, we're like, are they really bringing us another character in the last episode? This is ridiculous. We already saw Alex get introduced last week, I think. Was that last week or the week before?
Yes.
So we already have some fresh meat in the show, and we didn't need someone else last episode come into the picture.
Yeah.
So it was good that it was just a quick little.
And especially how this show has been airing, it's just been like, it was off the air for 3 weeks, and now we're back to finish out the last 3. So it's kind of like, to a casual viewer, perhaps they'd be like, oh, like, I don't remember who this is. You know, it's like a lot to throw something at someone in the last episode, because we saw everybody. Yes. Everybody was out in this episode at one point or another, including this long-lost son that I forgot all about. Yeah. I didn't know anything about this. So AJ, you know, the driver from the first episode, apparently he had a son again. And you know, of course, you know, we remember Van Ness, and there was that connection where they went to the USGS report. There's a lot of blood being shed over this, and so through a recording and through a horn signal that went off at one of Hap's rigs, Hap was able to identify that very quickly.
He's quick with those ears.
That was so ridiculous. They're like, oh yeah, they're in Saudi Arabia, and like that's the rig horn going off, and Hap's like, they don't do those rig horns in Saudi Arabia. That's my rig.
That's
like,
located at 13 Meadow Lane.
Yeah. No, this is way too convenient. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But let me ask you all, did you think that we needed to address the Saudi Arabia storyline / like Van Ness? Like, I even forgot about that chick until I saw her dead on the show.
I feel like if they didn't, then we'd be like, well, where did that go, or what happened with that? But I also felt like it was unnecessary to have in the finale.
Yeah.
I think too much time was spent on it for no reason.
It wasn't a big enough plot point throughout the season to have it be like a big pivotal moment in the finale, and the Saudi Arabia thing ended up being quite a big part of it, with just Van Ness and going to get AJ's kid, who has been in Rock Springs this whole time, apparently. And then at the very end with that guy, like, pulling a gun on Lacey. Like,
another character. It's like, who's this?
It was one of those things that if they felt the need to address it that much, then it should have just kind of been over whenever they found the kid, and like not see the surly man in the crowd. Like, what is happening right now?
That was a little too.
It's because it's just like, why? I mean, I get why they did it in the sense of they delayed Billy from getting to Cody. What's going to happen with that? But it's like, you probably could have done that in another way.
Yeah, there could have been another mechanism to have that work into the plot without it feeling silly. Like, oh no, there's just random Saudi Arabian people like running around Rock Springs, like plotting this like conspiracy, all this stuff. Like,
I don't know. I liked it. Like, I liked them talking about the son, but I do agree. I think they spent a little bit too much time on it. It just shouldn't have been like, okay, my son is here. That's it. Like, I don't need all this other background story. Yeah. If I did need a background, I should have got it like weeks ago. Right. I don't need it tonight.
Very true.
So, I kind of forgot about all that. And, you know, we watch the show closely where we cover it for you guys as well. So it's like, for me, I'm like, oh, that's like, you know, I'm not blaming myself. I'm blaming them.
This episode was all about everyone like getting their happy ending. So that's why, you know, AJ finding his son, that's like his kind of conclusion, and then with Lacey, like, oh, they're gonna be like this little family or something, I guess. So it's you know, every character had their resolution, their happy resolution.
Well, for Cody, she thought that was going to be moving back to Florida, so they made a really quick snap decision, as they usually do on the show, and they were like, you know, we were happier there, let's just go. Like, tomorrow night I'll have the car packed and we're gonna head out.
Like, didn't you just buy this house? This $500,000 house. What are you gonna do with that?
Have they even paid their first utilities yet? I mean, really? So everything was like, you know, they were gonna do that, and of course Billy gets himself involved with things and doesn't tell his wife. Right. They don't text. Of course. They don't chat over breakfast. You know, they have no real relationship.
She's talking to Alex though, Dr. Alex.
I know.
I'm saying that's the person she is talking to. She won't sit down and actually talk to her husband, which I don't understand what's so hard about that. Just a simple conversation instead of her just coming and, let me pack my bag. Oh my gosh, let's go back to Florida. Oh my gosh, let's leave tonight. Like, why aren't you guys speaking like more into this?
Right.
Yeah. Why is it just everything's just like this?
They're so impulsive, and they've been that way the entire season. And then they don't actually have conversations that we see. Like, it's very like quick decisions and just so emotional from them.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have been there like a month? Yeah. If that, 2 months in Rock Springs. Like, it's a transition. It might kind of suck for a little bit, but like,
Look,
wait it out a little.
Exactly.
Relax.
I've been out here in LA for 7 years, and I'm still trying to make it work. So I don't want to hear it.
Cody.
Yes, I'm still trying to make it work, kids. Let's talk about. I have Dr. White, but is it Alex? Is that his name?
Alex. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
White.
Alex gave Billy a visit and was like, "You're exactly the type of guy that we need to work with this land." So he's a little ulterior motive, a little selfish.
I liked that move.
Yeah.
I like it soapy.
I have a TV Line article pulled up right now, and they're talking about the show as well. And I love how they said this. It said, Alex offered Billy the mineral rights to the Black Elk Reservation, all part of his thinly veiled and almost immediately exposed plan to keep Cody from moving back to Laundromatville, Florida. And I'm like, it really was like, he approached him like, oh, we want you because we trust you and da-da-da-da. But, we all, of course, knew as a viewer what he was doing. And then it's like, 2 minutes later, he's just trying to do this because he wants your wife. And it's like...
Billy's so easy. Of course Billy's going to fall for that. He's like, who, me? You believe in me? I'm going to do it and I'm going to be rich. Okay.
You don't even know me, but I believe you.
Yeah, I am the one, you know?
Well, while Billy has the wool pulled over his eyes, he went to go and visit Annie, and then Annie kind of turned on him, and she's like, yep, now we're in business with Hap. And we're like, okay, now we're going to turn the car this way. All right, now where are we? And, that was kind of a dirty move that she made, but are we surprised? I mean, we haven't... I don't know. I mean, I feel like she was kind of one of the good guys on the show.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was a little bit surprised that... Annie kind of turned on them. I thought she was really into get Hap and take his money and all that stuff. And then when she said, "Oh, now we're one big family and this family background," I was taken back.
I just thought it was weird. I was like, why? They didn't list, okay, make her and Hap have a moment where it's like, they had a few moments, but not anything that was significant enough to be like, oh, she would or she should make the decision to go with him.
Right.
Because they've, had this history and whatever. I just thought, I'm like, this is a left turn out of nowhere move. Like, why did she choose to do that?
Exactly.
They didn't even have a conversation about it.
We should have had some sort of little scene in there where, Hap and Annie had a heart-to-heart or something, and they're like, you know what? Let's bury the hatchet, and this is going to be a big deal for both of us. We're both going to come out even filthier rich than we are, so, let's just go in on it, too. Something like that to make it make more sense, because we've all liked Annie's character this whole time, and she did seem more out for revenge than not, so it was a weird move. And I don't think we really saw much resolution for her character, actually, in this episode.
She did
any conclusion, really.
She did forgive him, but went against how her character was built on the show.
I mean, she kissed Carla at the end. They double kissed.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? So now you're cheeking?
Everyone became so buddy-buddy by the end of this. They loved each other.
Family.
It was a love fest at
when
the
they
end.
do that.
I love how they kept throwing that, we're going to be trillionaire. You're going to turn down $1 trillion. And I'm like, how do you know it's going to be $1 trillion?
Yeah.
But they threw that number out there a lot.
Yeah.
I noticed, and this is just my POV, but I feel like the dialogue is different for Don Johnson than the other characters. I feel like it's very dumbed down. I feel like Don gets some really smart scenes, and he gets some good lines. Like the scene he had with Billy, which is a good transition because that's exactly where I want to go, when he was challenging Billy to stay. I feel like that was a well-executed scene. Even the directing was really well done. And then some of this other nonsense with Lacey and even with Carla, it's just not as strong to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's top billing and he's the most experienced actor, so...
He does just kind of kill it in this show.
He does.
And in certain...
so good.
I agree in the sense of... I mean, not that the other people are bad. Don't get me wrong. I watched Gossip Girl religiously and love Chace Crawford. But, and even I love India, the person who plays Jules. And I think they're all great. But Don Johnson is just
so
next
good
level.
Yeah.
So even some of his scenes that can or could be taken as a little cheesy... are so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, but tonight he just killed it in every scene. It was
Gosh, the scene with him and Wick, I love that. I was like, his
tears,
so good. Yeah, loved it.
Let's talk about that scene because Lacey cracked. She didn't even have to say anything, but she the truth came out finally after all these episodes. It's confirmed that indeed Wick was there at the rig fire, and then they had that scene at the pool table and. I was wondering what the buildup would be, but they went right to it.
Yeah.
Stared down the gun.
Yeah, I thought it was. I love that he. I mean, I guess it's kind of a weird thing for a dad to point a gun straight in his son's face, but I actually liked that he did that. Like, how does it feel to have someone that you love pointing the gun? Because I know how it feels.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Wick was kind of like, yes, you do know how it feels. Yeah. But I liked that Hap kind of, it's like we, you know, which maybe I'm just thinking Christmas right now, but it's like, oh, the Grinch, his heart grew 3 sizes because he's like, you know what, I wasn't a great dad and I wasn't there for you, so forgive me for not doing that so that I can forgive you. And I'm just like, his tears, and I just had chills the entire time. I thought it was a great scene.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like the most powerful scene through the whole episode. Like, to me, that scene kind of just caught my whole attention through the whole show. I was kind of like, in the middle, it went fast and went really slow. And then when that scene came, I was like, okay, it all ties in together.
Yeah.
Hap is doing such a wonderful job, Don Johnson. He was just,
that scene was awesome. And I think Scott, who plays Wick, did a really great job of matching, rising to that level
I would
with
say so.
Don as well. They played it really well together.
Are y'all surprised that they went that way with it?
Well, I was going to say, while I did find that to be a good scene, I thought that, they're building this up for all 12 episodes. I wanted to see it take a different direction where it was really going to pay off, and we were really going to see that feud that's been building and waiting for it to boil over. Like, I wanted more of a payoff.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that, from a father's perspective, that he, wants forgiveness from his son and all that. But I just wanted to see him go crazy.
Right. I kind of did too.
I thought they would either take it really dramatically and like relationships would be broken forever sort of thing, or it would get patched over. Yeah. And as we were watching it, I felt like it would go that direction because he is the dad and he's like, my punk ass son. And
he turned into like this happy, I've never seen him smile as big as he did tonight. So he turned and his character just took a turn tonight. Habs did.
He's really softened though.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that's not who we were sold originally to,
Yeah, that's true.
You don't like the soft side from him? I'm kind of digging the little soft Hap. No?
I'm digging a little bit. I think we've always seen, especially with Lacey, and even with Jules, we've seen a softer side of him. But I also like that, take no prisoners, this is what I want to do kind of aspect of him. But I liked that they, kind of fixed things because their relationship has been so terrible the entire time, him and Wick's.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I didn't like other aspects of the softness. But we'll get there.
Yeah, let's look at Wick really quickly with Jules. Now, she basically took the money, she's going to get money deposited in her account, but then she wants to leave town with Wick. So, am I missing something there? Because Carla thinks that it's Hap's son or daughter, baby, on the way. So it's just like, okay, isn't she going to realize, put 2 and 2 together?
Well, no, because, Jules got smart and said, okay, she doesn't know, and she thinks she's winning. She thinks oh, I'm getting rid of her forever. But Jules doesn't want to be with Hap anyway. So once she realizes that the baby isn't Hap's and that it's Wick's, she's like, well, I can still get my money and have my honey at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. If Carla knew the baby was Wick's, there's no point in giving Jules hush money.
Well, right, but if they're gonna run off together, she's a smart lady. Why she put 2 and 2 together and say, "Damn, this girl straight up lied to me"?
No, I think I don't think there's any way she would ever know because Wick. It's like, of course Wick would run off. This was just found out, and he, the whole time really did love Jules. So she'll just think, oh, Jules talked him into leaving, but she'll still think that it's Hap's baby the whole time.
Yeah. And that Jules probably told Wick that it was his instead of Hap's because they did have that paternity test that said it was Hap's.
Okay.
So that was where that error was. So that's what Carla saw, and so that's what she's going with.
Yeah.
Yes, right, a convenient error.
I love how it's like the tech made it, or said that this mistake almost never happens. It's like, does it ever happen?
No.
Well, let's take a transition of our own, and we're going to go to our cheers and jeers segment. And we're gonna look at little highs and lows here that caught our attention, whether it be in this episode or season wide. So I'll go first. My cheers is to the cast of this show. I think for the most part they're good solid performers, and I enjoyed seeing, like we were mentioning, Don Johnson, Amber Valletta, we've given her so much praise, and even Chace Crawford. He did some good work in this episode. So
Definitely.
yeah, and there were some nice shots as well. I thought this episode looked pretty good overall. And then my jeers goes to my jeers goes to not the actor or necessarily the character, more like the execution. Dr. White, Alex.
Yeah.
I really like the character. I just think that they should have had this character on from day one. Cody spent a lot of time in the hospital, so they had chances for their paths to cross, and to be able to build up to that, to show that he's got like this real desire for her, that the stakes would be higher when he does try to convince Billy to stick around.
Right.
To have him sprung on us at the end is just not that exciting. So I just think that was like kind of a really missed opportunity, and they could have really had him on throughout more. So that's
very
my
true.
jeers just for that character
Totally.
in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo.
All right, my turn. So for this episode, my cheer would be to the scene with Hap and Wick. I just loved it, and I know that's a big scene, so that's a big cheer. But I love that scene. My jeer for this episode was when Cody's in the car and Billy texts her, is calling her, and she's like, "No more excuses, Billy." Like, I'm sorry, if this is like the make it or break it of your marriage, like, yeah, you pick up the phone, girl.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, that was
Cody.
terrible.
But
Terrible.
overall, my overall cheer, I think, for the whole season, I thought that just the look of how everything was shot to wardrobe and the overall like look of everything was just so sharp, and just everything looked great. And like you were saying, the cast was excellent, and a lot of the scenes that were shot, I think it was really pretty to watch, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
I agree.
My season jeer would be Gary.
Yes. Bye, Gary.
and moving on.
Yes.
My cheer would have to be when Jules played Carla. I really enjoyed that, when she got the money and was like, I'll just take the money and I'll leave.
Right.
And next thing you know, she's leaving off with Wick. Like, I really just enjoyed that. She played her. And my cheer would have to be Lacey's dress at the little Christmas gathering. The yellow. And it was like
washed her out a
rhinestones.
little.
Yeah, it wasn't cute. I wasn't feeling that one.
I
was
like that jeer. I like it.
Yeah, I was just like, Lacey, like, can't you put a better dress to tell your father, like, your brother was gonna kill him? Like, I just wasn't feeling it. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a good one. My best cheer for tonight was the same thing. I like that through it all, Jules was, she's the one who's not technically well, now she is because she got a baby, but that's not technically connected to them. But I like that she's like, okay, Carla, you win. I'll go away. You give me my money. So I like that she let her think that, like, oh, you won, but really she's getting the upper hand because she's going to get all this cash for her and a baby for the rest of her life. And she gets Wick at the same time. My jeer for tonight was the sheriff. So at the end, it's not just like him holding the gun, how he did, but it was, I'm like, why are you there, Sheriff?
Yeah.
At the end, whenever
And
he's
Christmas
the one who
Eve.
shoots the Saudi, I'm like, wait, you
Yeah,
just
why was he
happened to
showing up
be
there?
in the woods?
Christmas Eve hanging out.
Yeah, I'm like, they could have put that as someone, like, it could have been Hap. I mean, because they heard her scream. So I was like, this is the most random thing in the entire world for him to be there. My cheer for the season, definitely, I completely agree with y'all that the cast was great, and the scenery was for sure beautiful. But I really liked that I felt like I learned some stuff about the oil business.
Yes.
It's kind of weird, but I'm like, should we go into business?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do I get it on that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And my jeer for the season is probably the sheriff. Just because I'm like the creepiness, like what are you doing here? So I'm like,
He finally took care of something, though.
he finally helped. That's true.
Something finally came of his pursuits, and
Yeah.
he still never really got Wick. He still never really confronted Wick and like really nailed him to the cross for the rig fire that he was like dying to do. But yeah, he saved the child and saved Billy, and that was weird that Billy had to jump into that as well. Like he was in the right place at the right time to be able to save Lacey, because those two haven't crossed paths at all, right?
Right. Well, they did it so that he would be knocked out, so he wouldn't be able to go see Cody, because he was, running to get the girl back.
Yeah.
In the words of Emma.
All over that USGS report.
Good report.
I want that.
I want that report.
So we talked about Cody rejecting Billy's call, and then Hap has a big conversation with Billy how they can still do the deal and he can live wherever he wants, and Hap softens up on that with that respect, which is kind of like very convenient to wrap story up, because the whole season he was baiting him.
That's where I was going to say I necessarily didn't like the softness, because I get that, like, he wants to be a better person. He's, trying to fix things with Wick. But it's like, you have the opportunity to cut out an entire portion of this deal. And, the Chief White Cloud, she's told you, no, you can do it without him, whatever. And I'm just like, so where is this coming from? You've done him wrong in the past, whatever, but why are you all of a sudden being like, you know what? No, you go to Florida and you do what you do and you still get the money too, but we're going to be here doing all the work. I was kind of like, why are you softening up on that now?
Yeah, he's stingy. He's all about himself. That's what we've been told this whole time. So,
And he said things like that to Billy in the past, and it's always been in a way that I believe that some of that is true for sure, but in the past it's always been a way to kind of puff up Billy's ego to make Billy fall for something or go with Hap's
you're absolutely
deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a matter of the season is ending, let's make everyone feel happy about things and resolve it on a good note.
Billy should have been like, all right, stop everything. Write this down. Sign this right now.
Yeah,
get a notary in here.
Yeah.
Get a witness. Get a judge to sign off on
But
this.
Billy can be kind of a sucker when he's like with the whole dreams talk. I'm like, Billy is totally gonna. And he was like getting all teary.
Yeah. He's like, I get $1 trillion?
You love me, Hap?
Oh.
I know. Why is Billy just so gullible like that? Like, do we really know why he's just like, okay, all right,
I guess it's just his character, just his personality. But
and I think it's supposed to show that he's like the new guy, the new kid in the big business world, catching on.
Right.
But I don't know. So anyway, him and Cody, all's well that ends well, I guess, right?
So it would seem, because they go back to the bar and then Cody walks in casually.
Cute little moment.
I'm still tired of Cody. I just really think she's just too over the top. She's very dramatic for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but every little thing she just kind of like picks at a little bit. Well, it's kind of like, Cody, I think you're ballooning this up a little bit more out of proportion. You need to just like you said about on the cell phone in the car when she was just like, oh, I'm tired of your excuses.
Right.
Like, pick up the phone, girl. Call your man. Talk to him. See at least what he has to say. Like, come on. Or text him like, I'm tired of your excuses, and let him text you back. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm tired of her. I'm tired of Cody. Sorry.
I think this probably makes me a bad person for feeling this way, but I literally was like, oh, yay, Billy and Cody are going to break up. Because I was like, I'm done with that relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, they're
that's
married,
it.
so that's a little serious, obviously. But I was kind of excited at the thought of like, oh, okay, she's gonna go to Florida and he's gonna stay here.
I was with you.
And then we'll see what happens.
I wonder if they should have done the show where Billy was coming as a single guy, and then he got in with Emma, and he kind of built his life there, as opposed to having a wife that came with dreams of opening a laundromat. You know what I mean? It's like maybe like just follow like that one guy, because I feel like they could have done it without her, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, I like her as an actress. I do think she did some great things and added a lot to it, but I just didn't like certain aspects of their relationship.
Maybe
But
that's it.
to each his own, I guess.
Right. Well, let's transition to some news and gossip, shall we?
Yeah.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
Ooh.
Do we have any news?
Well, I figured we'd just talk about a few articles that were out there. Of course,
Yeah.
we don't know if this show is picked up or not, but I've read a couple different things, and different articles have mentioned that a lot of other ABC shows, like the Shonda shows, even Quantico, are holding pretty strong, where this show just had never really had the real, the numbers to really hang on. So, nothing has been announced yet, but everyone's saying don't get your hopes up. So we don't know anything here, but that's what I've heard. What about you guys?
Well, I'm actually looking at Don Johnson's Twitter right now, and this probably means absolutely nothing. It probably just means it's the finale, but he tweeted a picture of himself in a blood and oil hat. It's really cute, actually. And he says, "Last chance saloon for blood and oil, so drink up the finale tonight." And I mean, I'm sure he probably just meant, it's the finale, last chance. But I kind of think of it like, it's your last chance to see what happens to everything. So tune in.
Yeah.
I think they ended the finale in the sense of just kind of like you said, Lauren, everything got a pretty little bow on it. And like, this is tied up this way. But then there are still other things that they could go into a season 2 with. Everything was... we got conclusions on literally everything, but it's like, what could happen next from this? So it's not completely like, everything has a complete resolution and we don't care about it. There's something, I'm like, what happens with Jules and Wick? What happens with that? Does Carla ever find out? I mean, there are other things that we could wonder about. So it's like, there could be a season 2, but I think they definitely ended it in the way of like, let's make sure the fans are happy with what we gave them with season 1.
Payoff.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've read the same things that, it's not, ABC hasn't said outright whether or not it's canceled, but, going from 13 episodes to 10 and ratings never really picking up, it's very unlikely that it would get brought back. And just the way that they ended it, obviously they're preparing, it seems like they're preparing for it to be closed up and done.
Do we think that it might be picked up on another station, maybe like Hulu, Netflix?
It's always possible.
Yeah, you never know nowadays, but I don't know.
But now
I can't see Don Johnson doing a Hulu. I just wish I want just him, or I want him to be on another show because I really enjoyed him. I mean, not to take anything away from the other actors, but I just really enjoyed him on this show. So I kind of hope he does something else. Maybe he'll get another network show.
I think just a lot of behind the scenes turmoil really affected this show because like we said, it looks great. The cast is even an article I read is on paper, this show is good to go. Right. But it's just the way it was executed and just things just didn't all fall into place very well. And I think a lot of that happened with regards to writing. So who knows? We will know as you find out. Of course, you guys can find us online and tweet us. I want to give a shout out to Allie at Tennessee and Hale, who always gives us some her thoughts after the show.
She gives us some good news.
So thank you for reaching out to us, and thank you for hanging out with us all season long.
And in the chat, we usually have quite a few people chatting with us today. We've got Steven Starr, Felicia Moore, Amy Quinn, and thanks for chatting with us tonight and other times.
I want to shout out Felicia Moore's comment because I am so with you, Felicia. She said her last comment, "It's Billy and Cody together that's annoying. Cody with Dr. Alex is somewhat tolerable." I actually completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I liked their little tension, but Cody and Billy, I was like, no.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Felicia.
She got it.
She gets it.
Hey, Felicia.
She gets it.
Yeah.
So
she
funny.
maybe look at it a whole other way. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
It might be the relationship.
Somewhat tolerable. Somewhat key phrasing there.
So where can we find you guys online, and what other shows are you doing here at AfterBuzz so we can find you talking about more TV?
Yeah, I'm currently on The Affair and The Mindy Project. We'll be doing a few other Secrets and Lies, lots of stuff in the spring. So catch me there. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Yes, and I will be on Mob Wives. It starts up
the final season.
I'm so excited. I'm such a big Drita fan. But I'll be on Mob Wives. That starts in January. I believe January 7th. It's like a Wednesday. And then I'll also be on WE TV's new show, Growing Up Hip Hop. Yes, I'm excited to talk about that. I love Angela Simmons. So that starts in January also. And then you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Howard III. That's Howard the 3RD, and of course my website, howardthe3rd.com. I had so much fun this season.
Super fun. And I'm Lauren Salaun, and you guys can find me on Tuesday for this season.
You're busy.
Yeah, it's like TBD. I don't even know.
Busy, And you guys can keep up with me online at Lauren Salaun. That's LaurenSalaun everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere.
Nice. And you guys can find me over on Twitter at Grants__rants. And you can find me talking about a lot of reality TV and more on my podcast, Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk. Look it up. It's on iTunes and Stitchers. You can get on Android. You can get on an iPhone, whatever you want. So thank you so much, guys. This is a good
Yeah, this was great. So
Thank you
much
for
fun.
hanging out with us. And tweet us. Let us know what you think. That'll do it for us for ABC's Blood and Oil.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.